Welcome back to a new video. So I actually went through a whole commentary before, like talked about training stuff, and it's like I didn't even talk about the good news. I waited all the way to the end until I was out of training clips to even talk about that. So that's going to be the main focus of this. This is several workouts put into one, and this was from last Friday to yesterday. So it's all several workouts combined into one. I believe it's day 3 to day 5 combined since it's a day 6 on this one. But at the same time, if I'm wrong, then it is what it is. But had several good productive workouts, and the reason that some of my days got shifted around, you'll see I had 2 squat days in a row, was because of wedding stuff, just kind of to work around that schedule to make sure that I didn't have any crazy sessions, or at least like a day where it was like too difficult. Just try to move things around to be a little in a logical way so I could still get some work in. But the good news, so I've waited a minute into this one instead of 11 like in the last one. Really good news is that my job search is done. I got a new teaching job at a new district. I'm still going to be a physical education teacher. It's with grades K to 2, so different grade band than I previously had at my old school is 1 to 6. So this one's a smaller grade band. A couple years ago we did have kindergarten at my old school, but I'm going to be having them again, as well as first and second graders, as I've had every year that I've been a PE teacher. So I'm really excited about it. I had the interview at the other school, or at the school I'm going to be at yesterday morning, on Tuesday morning, and got a call from one of my references saying that like the school called, and I thought the interview went really well, because they ask you if you've, I'm sure it's the same for like every interview, but they go through and they ask very like, they have a paper and they go through and ask the questions that are on there, and it's pretty structured in that regard. But then the interview turned into like a conversation about stuff that they want to do next year and stuff, programs that they want to run, and just like turned a lot more casual and stuff that wasn't on the paper. So that was like my first indicator. It's like I like felt really good about it, and I have always felt really good about like most physical education interviews I've ever done, whether it was 8 years ago when I was originally looking for my first job, or this past summer. And then usually you don't get it. So I had 2 Phys Ed 1 interviews before this, that I was both not given the job, but the one of them sent my name to this school since it was in the same district, about this position. So I thought that was a good sign. And then once I went there, like they seemed really nice, and just it seems like a really good situation to be at. So I'm really excited about it. It being K to 2 is really nice to have. I was not opposed. The other one of the other schools was 3 to 6. I don't really have a big preference for a certain grade band, but I do like that it's a more narrow band of students. You're not having K kindergartners in the same that you have 6th graders. It's nice to be K to 2 with that. So I definitely will like to have that focus. So hopefully, long term, this is where I can stay, and 26 more years of teaching, and hopefully I can just do all 26 here, because I do not like change, and I like stability. And so being out of somewhere for 8 years and then trying to go somewhere else certainly was, it's uncomfortable, and for someone like me. And when I think about it, I was at one school district for longer than I went to high school, longer than I went to college. The only thing that I've done longer than teach at my previous school district was lift weights, play sports, like stuff like that I've done for a majority of my life at this point. And it's kind of weird to think about, like that was like a super long thing that went on, even though I switched halfway through to a different elementary school in the district. Both of the buildings are built exactly the same, so it really feels like you're at the same place. But being in the same district, moving to a different building isn't that crazy of a change. Still is, but it's not as different as changing to another school district entirely. Probably the only really negative of the new school district is that it's mathematically correct, but it's going to be comical when I explain it. The commute to my work, new job, or the new school is 3 times longer than my previous one, and may sound scary on the face of it, but I moved from a 8-minute commute to my previous school to a 25-minute commute, which could be a little bit longer because I will have to deal with some traffic, because it's actually if you look back at old videos, the old gym, World's Gym, that I used to go to, it's right by the school district, is right by where that gym is. So in theory, I could redo my membership there. I don't really envision myself doing that, just because I would only be able to do squats, pulls, and presses there. So it's, to me, it's not really worth a gym membership, unless I was like I can get some weightlifting in there. But the space, and I haven't heard any good things about that gym since I've left, and it's mostly not like it's run poorly necessarily, but it's more so like the space usage isn't utilized very well. So like if I wanted to do snatches or something, it just wouldn't really work too well or be that safe for myself or for other people, frankly, in there as well, because of this how close everything is in that back area that I used to lift at. But that the school is like probably, I guess probably technically like a 5-minute drive from there. With traffic it's like 10. That road gets pretty clogged during rush hours. That's by where that gym is. But really excited, because like worst comes to worst, like I could get a membership there and then have that, potentially. But I haven't I'll figure that out as the weather starts to turn for the worse, because I still can go. So my current gym that I go to when I'm not at my shed is, I think it's 20 miles from my new school, which is a pretty similar distance. I think it will end up being like 25 minutes from where I go to school. So it's going to make sense for me to bring my training stuff with me to school and then leave from there to the gym instead of driving home to go there. Obviously, if living 8 minutes from my school prior, I could go home and change and relax and then go to the gym if if I wanted to make that drive. But now it's going to make sense if I am going to go to the gym to drive directly from work. And if I'm working at the house, it doesn't matter, just drive home. But I'm kind of curious about how that drive will work, because there's just a lot of traffic to deal with. So that is something I'm going to have to plan for and just kind of deal with, because there is going to be just rush hour traffic, especially closer I get to the school. There's one road that's not a highway, it's route, whatever, but it's just always clogged with traffic. And I remember when I went to the little gym, it was still always clogged. So just to be mentally prepared for that. But for the quality of the school that I'm going to be at and the position that I have as continuing to be a phys ed teacher, there's a lot more that I would have went through to attain a job like that. So I'm really excited. In this session here, you see me doing some push presses, but I have or the snatch push presses, I actually got up to 135, which I'm pretty happy with. The last one was kind of a make, kind of a miss. I'll let you decide here if this one actually counts or not. I counted it just because I was held it up there long enough, but I wasn't able to re-rack it, which is difficult to do. And if you're not sure, it's better to just not. But as you saw, I had the Addy Stars on, which I only wore for that exercise because the right side, the rubber at the bottom of the heel, was actually coming off, so I had to get some glue on there. The left one was the main issue that was described in the posting, but the left one, or the right one, also had a little bit. And it's the main issue that you're going to deal with those shoes. It's just the adhesive coming off with that bottom rubber. But I might look into figuring out, and there I didn't get hurt, I just knew I wasn't going to do the double there. But I may look into getting them fixed by a cobbler if they start to be more of an issue. But I'm kind of just working with them now to make sure that they're, I get glue on the different parts, and if other things are starting to come loose, to try to fix those. It's mostly with the bottom, and try to make sure that they're good enough to use for snatching, clean jerking. Right now, I'm just going to continue to experiment them with, snatch push presses, something that's pretty low impact on them, just to make sure that they're holding together for a movement that, even if like the sole's like really loose or whatever, it's not going to be, something I'm going to notice necessarily too much if I'm just doing a squat or a push press or something like that. But this was the session that I did yesterday, so this was after I accepted the job. So that's one reason I went to the gym. I was just really excited, and it was also really hot outside, so it was a combination of that. But I was just excited, and I was like, I want to go to the gym and just go there kind of as a luxury. And missed 90s, you saw, just lost focus, went early, but came back, made 100, and then made this 110. I was happy about that, and then made it 2 more times. The last one I pressed out with my left shoulder. So, things are improving with the snatch, and thankfully, with that press out, even there was a little bit, but, things are improving. And even without wrist wraps, which I forgot at the house in this session, still went well, and nothing's getting more aggravated with the shoulder. It's all continuing to get better. So just have to be aware of that, and obviously trying to avoid the pressing out, because that's just how I injured my shoulder, with that laxicity of the shoulder, and I guess just weakness in general. But clean jerks went well, got up to 140 for 2 singles. and just a really nice session. I was really confident on clean and jerks. I just kind of iliated it a little bit, just walked up to it and just ripped and ripped it, which was nice. Ideally, that's what I would do with all my lifts, but it's a lot more difficult on snatches for me mentally to just grip it and rip it. For clean jerks, it's a little bit easier to just go up and do it because cleans are generally pretty easy. But it's definitely a big confidence thing because it's certainly not. I would say it's probably more ideal to spend less time getting ready than more. But if you got to take more time, then I think it's better to take that than trying to rush it just to say that you did it fast. But I saw their second one not as good. The jerk also wasn't as good. But yeah, I'm really excited about the new position. So I have that all figured out. So there's no more job interviews that I have to worry about this summer. And yeah, they will approve me at the next board meeting. And then that's when things become official. But I mean, it's basically official now because they give you the job offer, and then human resource people reach out and contact you and to do contract stuff and all the boring legal stuff. But then it's all approved, and then I get to move forward with that. So thankfully, a really quick process for finding a new place, and I just was very lucky to work with really great people at the previous school district, and the references that I put on my thing talked really well about me, which I think helped a lot. And unfortunately, it's got a lot of good experience and built me to where I am now. It just kind of stinks that there's just a lot of financial issues at the previous area, the previous spot I was at, and it made things unstable. And at the end of the day, you kind of have to look at the basic necessities that you need in your life, and one of the big ones for me is stability and routines. And you don't know where a district is going to be in a couple of years, and you don't have they moved me from being phys ed to special ed, when you don't even know if that's even going to be something that you're going to continue to do for the next couple of years or be able to. I was worried about getting potentially rift, and it's like you're worried about stuff like that. It's not really healthy. And thankfully I'm at a good spot, or I guess was at a good spot to look for a different position. When you have less than 10 years of experience, it is useful for contracts because a lot of districts will give you most, if not all, the years that you've taught as far as the steps on the contract. If you have more than that, that tends to be where there's issues. So that's kind of the last thing to kind of see with the new district, how many steps they give me. Hopefully all of them, because that would be I'd get as much money as I did at the previous district, which you don't make a ton of money as a teacher, but I'd rather get more than less, as most people would. But I'm just really excited about it. I could sit here and talk for 20 minutes about how excited I am for it, and it doesn't really I don't really have that bubbly freak out personality to talk about all that. But it's the mental fireworks go off, and I think it's just going to be a great situation, and it's just a lot of stress that I don't have now, which for you guys, you just get better lifting. Frankly, I'm gonna lift better, but obviously it's good for just life to have that figured out. But anywho, that's it for this one. I'll talk to you all in the next one, and hope you all have a great day. Peace.